Oh, modern technology. Okay. So firstly, I want to wish Essie a big mazel tov. We should just continue to have many simchas and many more beautiful grandchildren, and it should just be a zuchus for Klal Yisrael. And I'm happy that it's a beautiful baby and also a little girl. And then she didn't have to run off tonight to be there to help for the Shalom Zacha and the breast. So I'm actually at a simcha myself, but I want to just take the opportunity first to just wish my mother, Granny, a Chai Maruchim. Tonight is the yahrzeit of my mother's mother and my grandmother, Chaya Fruma Bas Batzalel. Tomorrow night is also the yahrzeit of Dalia Reznik's mother, 3 years, and she is Tzipora Bas Binyamin. So we should, please God, just bring a lot of nachas to everybody. And we're looking very forward to see how we can manage this next stage of our lives, Essie. So we're looking forward to the inspiration. And I am going to do my best to be back. I'm in and out all the time. We're not going to do our Frashas Challah tonight, but that's only because I have made, I don't know how many bags of challah flour today. And my sourdough's at home and I'm out to make a bracha. But we should just have in mind, everybody, all of our hostages, our soldiers, all of Klal Yisrael. And please God, this is going to be the month of the incredible Nisim, the incredible miracles that we are really all looking forward to. So Essie, thank you for being here on this special night for us, and enjoy.
Sorry, I'll mute myself. I'm here.
Okay, can you mute me, please, Niece?
I don't know how to do that. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and a good Erev Shabbos. And I couldn't help but Parshas Vayetze is just so full of things, and I wasn't going to start teaching the Parsha today, but I just need to focus on a couple of things within the Parsha. So it says Vayetze Yaakov, and the Mefarshim say that when a tzaddik leaves a city, leaves a town, it makes a big deal. It affects us a lot. It's comparing the special spiritual power that we lose when a tzaddik leaves us, which we all felt when Reb Chaim was nifta, for example. And when Yaakov sets to rest for the evening, it says Vayifga b'makom. Makom was a place of Har HaMoriah where Avraham daven Shachris and Yitzchak daven Mincha, and he stops there to daven Marib. And he has a dream, and in his dream there is a ladder, and there's a ladder which has its feet in the ground, and its head is reaching up to the sky. And there is a very, very, very deep message to all of us from this dream, because anything that's recorded in the Torah is recorded in the Torah for a reason. It's there for us to give us a message, to teach us something. And what is a message for us? Yaakov's ladder is every single one of us has a ladder. My life, your life, we all have our own ladder. And on my ladder, my feet are in the ground, down in the earthy world which we're in, and the head can reach the potential, can reach the sky. There's not the sky the limit spiritually. There's no end to how far we can reach spiritually. So we're gonna, and I want to understand the concept of the Bechira, which we're gonna look at through the ladder of choice, and to understand that the whole concept of the ladder represents our growth, because you don't go up the whole thing in one go. It has to be step by step. And as we go between the steps, we need to let go. We need to take both our feet away from one step and go on to the next step. And that's a very, very hard thing to do. To lift up both feet away and not keep 1 foot here and 1 foot there is a difficult thing to do. It's what Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah, the prophet, said to the prophets of the Baal, which were a form of Avodah Zarah, of idol worshipping. He said to them, Till when are you going to keep your feet on both sides? How long are you going to be 1 foot here, 1 foot there? Because on the one hand, they're keeping the Torah, and on the other hand, they're serving the idols. So it doesn't work, but it's a very hard thing to do. I remember once one of the ladies who went on the Israel trip came back and she told me Rebbe Pavlov said to her, you know, your feet have grown, you need to change your shoes. And it's a difficult thing to do, to change our shoes, because we like our old shoes. And I'm not talking about shoes now, clearly. I'm talking about our habits. I'm talking about our the way we're used to doing things, and it's hard to let go. So it's a work of life, which we're going to be looking at. Yaakov he organized and all the daven Mariv for the first time in the same place of Shachris and Mincha. And in his davening, Yaakov said, Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael is, I hear, when we say, oh, listen, O Israel, which is what the Siddur translates, it's not listen, O Israel, it's listen every single one of Israel. What are you listening to? I hereby accept upon myself the yoke of you, Hashem, over me. That means everything that you decide for me, everything in my life they're the reason for it, and I accept the yoke of your wishes over mine. And we say, Shema Yisrael, listen, O Israel. Who is Israel? You are Israel. I'm Israel. Every single one of us is Israel. What is Israel? Israel was Yaakov's name. When was Yaakov called Israel? After the battle with the Malach, with the angel, he called him Israel because he won the battle. So one should say, why is he calling him Israel, which is representing the battle? Why not Israel? Call him Netzach because you won, Nitzachta, right? Nitzachon. But he doesn't call him that. He calls him Sarita because he kicked a fuss, because he kicked a fight, because he picked a battle. So it's a message for us that we are Israel, Shema Israel. When I say Shema Israel in the morning and in the evening, I say Shema Israel, and I'm talking to myself, listen here, you are Israel. If you are Israel, you have the DNA of Yaakov Avinu, who stood against the tide and fought with the Malach. So when I have the recognition that I am facing something which is possibly, I need to fight this, at that moment, I know I have the koach to do that. And I recognize that first thing in the morning when I daven Shema Yisrael, I recognize whatever test will come my way today, Hashem, I have the power within to fight it and to win. And even if we don't win, it's a pasuk says, Israel, afal pi shachata, Israel who. It doesn't matter even if you sinned, you're still called Israel. So we fall down, we get back up, we fall down, we get back up. We don't allow it to get us. But then the next thing that we say is, I'm not going to complete the whole Shema. We've done this in this forum a number of times. I'm going to say now, we say, Ve'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha, you should love Hashem, bechol levavcha. And it doesn't make sense grammatically to say levavcha because we don't have two hearts. We should say bechol libcha, with all your heart. And the Mefarshim say the reason it says levavcha with two base in the word is to represent the two inclinations which we have within us. So to take the Yetzer Hara and harness it to serve Hashem. Then we have nafshecha, which is literally Mesiras Nefesh, to be willing to die for Kiddush Hashem. Uvechol me'oidecha, which we said toward the end of our half, uvechol me'oidecha is even with all your money. So if a lot of people, their money is more important to them than serving Hashem, and they find different ways to keep the money in there as opposed to keeping their loyalty to Hashem. And bechol me'oidecha also means bechol mida umida shehu moided lecha, with every measurement and measurement that he serves you. Anything that comes your way, whether it's good, whether it's not, we still love Hashem. Whether it's good, of course it's good. Whether it feels good or doesn't feel good, then we still love Hashem with it all. Yaakov obviously had a lot more kavanah than all of us. I want to pause there and go back to the concept of bechira, of bechol levavcha, that he said, with all your with both your hearts. What are we talking about? So we do know that a person is born with bechira, and I want to understand the whole concept of bechira. The word bechira means choice, and we're talking about having free choice. So we were given as human beings the power to choose from Hashem. We were created above the concept of cause and effect, which is in nature. And I want to explain something, the concept that we're talking about. When Hashem gave us, we stood by the mountain, Hashem and Moshe, before Moshe's death, and Moshe Rabbeinu said, look, Hashem said, I put in front of you good and life and good, bad and death, and you shall choose life. And we would think that it's a natural thing to choose life. And we would think that it's a natural thing to choose good. Why did the Torah need to tell us to choose good? Why did the Torah need to tell us to choose life? So the thing that singles human beings out from all creations is the fact that we were given permission to choose. We were given a privilege to choose. Every person has permission and privilege to choose good over bad or bad over good. And the Rambam defines it according to Bereshis. It said in Bereshis that Hen ha'adam haya ke'echad mimeno, that Hashem made Adam like a singled out, lada'as toiv v'ra, to know good and bad. In other words, this is the only creature in creation which is created with the ability to know good from bad and to be able to choose good from bad or bad from good. Meaning there are other creatures above us, there are creatures below us, like the angels, which are above us. They have no choice. They just run around, however malachim, angels, run around, and they fulfill Hashem's will all the time. The different powers in the world that Hashem put in the world, for example, the wind and the fire, they do Hashem's wishes without their own will. There's no will of the malachim, of the angels, all the spiritual entities that are out there are way above us spiritually. However, they don't have the ability and the freedom to choose. Same goes for any creation which is below us. Any creation below us does not have the ability to choose. They don't have the freedom to choose. For example, we're talking about the behemoths, the animals. We're talking anything below us is inanimate objects, the growing, any vegetation or animals. They don't have the ability to choose. They just do. They just take from creation. We can choose to give or to take, and we are givers or takers at any given moment. So when to understand that there's no other creatures in the world that know and understand the difference between good and bad, only human beings have the power to choose. Now, the Rambam, Maimonides, about 500, 600 years ago, he says in a very, very strong language that it's a mistake. The majority of the world believe that a person was born. When a person was born, he was decreed upon whether he will be a tzaddik or a rasha, whether he'll be righteous or the other way. And that's a mistake, because every person, he says, can be a tzaddik and reach the levels of Moshe Rabbeinu, or he can be as evil and wicked as Yeravam ben Nevat. Yeravam ben Nevat is the example that he gives to a person who is the most evil. Yeravam ben Nevat was anointed to be king, and he was told to wait and not activate his kingship yet, but the status went into his head, and he very badly wanted the Jewish people to come to his area, he was the Malchus of Israel, and at the time there was Malchus Yehuda. There was kingship in Yehuda in Jerusalem, and there was a kingship of Israel. He wanted everyone to come to him for the pilgrimage, but everyone was going to go to Yehuda for the Beis Hamikdash. So what he did is he actually made 2 altars, and he basically set up 2 golden calves effectively, and Hashem asked him to return from his way. And Hashem revealed himself to him and said to him, if you go back on yourself, leave your bad ways, I will take you into the Garden of Eden, and I will walk with you together with David HaMelech, with Ben Yishai, he's called. And Yeravam says to Hashem, the chutzpah, he says to Hashem, who will be leading? Who will be leading the 3 of us? And Hashem said to him, King David will be leading us. And he said, in that case, leave me out. I'm not interested. If I'm not leading, not interested. The status goes to the head, and that's it. It's all about covered. I need my status. And he is the ultimate example for a Rasha. So Rambam tells us every person can reach the height of Moshe Rabbeinu or the low of Yeravam ben Nevat. So it's not that you can be a little bit like this or a little bit like that. We actually have such an acute difference, the dichotomy of tzaddik and rasha within every single one of us. We have potential to the top of the ladder, up into the sky the limit, or down into the materialistic, physical floor, bottom. Now, we also have the ability to choose between different character traits. Am I going to be stingy? Am I going to be generous? Am I going to be loving? Am I going to be hating? Am I going to be merciful? Am I going to be cruel? And so on and so forth with all the different midot. The Rambam says that the ability to choose between the different characters, between the different character traits, between the different midot, is upon every single person. And there is no one that can pull you one way or another. But you yourself, every single one of us, can choose ourselves which way to choose. As it says in Megillas Eicha, that we read on Tisha B'Av, written by Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu Hanavi, he says, Ein Haboire, the Creator, does not decree on a person whether they will be good, whether they will be bad. Just like, including, like, okay, so we raised the question of Esav. He was born ready-made, so to speak. He saw himself as ready-made, fait accompli. I don't need to do anything. I'm good as I am. So the choice is mine and every single one of us exclusively. Choice was given within the world exclusively to human beings. And therefore, we are responsible for our deeds. And if we sin, we only harm ourselves. And therefore, we can't also say, I'm not at fault, because this is my nature. What do you want? That's how I am. Accept me. This is who I am. So we can't say that because we have a choice how to be. We have a choice whether to sin or whether to do a mitzvah, whether to go down, whether to go up. And we have a choice to sin, and we also have a choice to do tshuva. By the way, tshuva, if you study it properly, is also above nature. It doesn't fit into nature. However, it says, Nechapsa derachenu v'nachkora v'nashuva. We need to search our way. We need to investigate our deeds and ourselves and return. The choice is not something nice and a lovely idea that we can do or not do. It's actually considered a very big yesod, a very big fundamental core of the Torah. It's considered a pillar of Torah and mitzvahs. Meaning, in the book of Devarim, Hashem tells us, I give you permission to choose what you want. You can choose good over bad. You can choose life over death and vice versa. Hashem tells us, I'm giving you the ability to choose, and I'm not telling you which way to go. That is your choice. So to summarize this part, we say the Bechira, choice, is a big pillar of Torah and mitzvahs. It's a great principle within Torah. 2, every person can be a tzaddik as Moshe Rabbeinu, or as Rasha as Yeravam, and every person had the choice which way to pull and to go. Number 3, we said, nobody can force you either way. In order to understand the essence of Bechira, we need to look at what the Rambam says. The Rambam says, an interesting language that he uses is, he says, Tipshei umois ha'ulam. Tipshei umois ha'olam. Now, normally when the Chachamim, when we read in our books, in the Sfarim, it says, Chachmei umos ha'olam, which is the wise ones amongst the nation. And he is using the opposite language. He's saying the opposite of wise amongst the nations. And he says, Rov Golmei Israel, most of those of Israel, who he calls them Golem. For those of you who know what a Golem is, it's a human being, it's a being that can't think. So he says, Tipshei umas ha'olam, the silly ones, if you want, or the lack of thinking ones among the nations, and Rov, majority of Golmei Israel, say, there is no choice. What can I do? This is how I have been made. This is my character traits. This is my journey. This is what my circumstances are. There is nothing I can do about it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a world of physicality, of material, of nature, with boundaries and rules. There is laws of nature. And one of the main things that we see within nature that Hashem created is the concept, the law of nature, which is cause and effect. Everything has a cause and effect. Everything that happens, or it can have a lot of causes, there'll be lots of causes and effect. Why? Why did Hashem do that? Because Hashem wants us to understand how the world works according to nature. In the book called Da'as Tevunus, the Ramchal, or Moshe Chaim Lutzato, says, why did Hashem create the world with 10 utterances? Like it said in Pirkei Avos, in Ethics of Our Father, they said that Hashem created the world with 10 utterances, because it was obvious that he could have created the world in one go. He could have flick the finger, however Hashem does that, and the world would come into being. Why did Hashem do a process of the first energy that came in, then it was the water, and then separating the water, and then putting boundaries to the water and exposing the land, and then a little bit of vegetation, and only then the whole system of the solar system, and then only after that the creatures and the animals, and only at the end mankind. Why did Hashem do it in stage by stage? Ramchal says that if Hashem would have created the world in one go, without stages, without laws of nature, then nobody would be able to go against Hashem in their thinking. Such a fascinating concept. He says Hashem created the world with order, with laws, with rules of how nature works. So the people will be curious to try and understand it and study it and understand how things work. And through that, they can understand the Creator more. But through that, it gives them an option to choose to go against Hashem. It's called to be a heretic, right? If Hashem would not create the world with an order, with the rules and laws of nature, then nobody would have the choice but to admit Hashem has done everything, because there's no reason for anything. Hashem created the world with a cause and effect so that we can understand the way he leads the world. For example, I want to cross the road. I come to the edge of the pavement and I think, is it safe to cross the road? I can see a car in the distance. Subconsciously or not subconsciously, I calculate in my head the speed that the car is going, the space that I need to get through from one side to the other. Will the car, based on the length, on the speed that it's going, get to me while I'm crossing or not? And then I assess whether it's safe for me to cross the road or not. That is cause and effect. Same goes with all sports. For example, footballers, they kick the ball, they know the weight of the ball, they know the direction they're kicking it in. Based on the weight of the ball, they know whether it will hit the post or not hit the goal, not hit the goal. And we run our lives with this subconscious concept the whole time. In our mind, the whole time we are aware of the fact that if I leave the water running long enough, they will go hot, for example, or if I put the tap on it. Everything that we do, we work with this concept of cause and effect. I know that if I go to sleep a certain time, I will sleep this amount of hours, I will feel a certain way by the morning. Cause and effect. I know that if I drink too much caffeine, I'm not going to be able to sleep. Some people are not affected, some people are affected, depend on, right? We all have the cause and effect is basically what runs and manages the world. So now I want to bring another point in. The Bechira, free choice that us human beings have, is against the laws of nature. It's against the laws of nature. The concept, the principle of choice, that a person can choose what to do and when to do and how to do, is against the laws of cause and effect. In everything else in nature, everything works, is activated according to cause and effect. There is the heat above the sea, the water evaporates, the wind it will create the clouds, the wind will then carry the cloud somewhere, it will rain somewhere else. It's if an animal is hungry, it will work with instinct and it will pounce on a nearby prey. This is nature. By us, the cause, meaning the reason, which is the cause, will give us a point of judgment. I can judge according to the cause whether I want to do something or not. I can choose to use the reason in order to choose, but I'm not coerced by it. I'm not forced by the reason, by the cause, to make my decision. So according to the general world out there, a person is born with our character traits, with our abilities, with our strength, with our weaknesses, and they are the cause to the effect of how we will behave. Job, said this to Hashem, and he said to him, you created evil people with a big Yetzer Hara, you can't judge them. And Eov's friends answered him, Hashem created Yetzer Hara, and he created the Torah as an antidote to the Yetzer Hara. It's not true that a person was born with certain character traits and certain strength, and based on that, he will behave a certain way, because it doesn't force us to behave a certain way. We can choose how to behave despite the feeling of wanting to behave a certain way. The fact that we were given a Yetzer Hara, the pull to do the other way, is in order to give us Bechira. It's in order to give us free choice. Because had we not been given Yetzer Hara, we wouldn't have had the ability to have free choice, because we would have such clarity of Hashem that we would be compelled to 100% behave according to the way Hashem wants us to behave the whole time. For example, when Hashem gave us the Torah, he exposed himself completely. We had an absolute revelation, and everybody was compelled to say, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen, whatever you say. There was no other way, because there was such clarity that it was almost like coercion, because there was the clarity. So the Yetzer Hara takes away the clarity. So now we have to sift good from bad, good from bad, good from bad through our daily activities and our daily thoughts and our daily actions. So according to the world around, we don't have Bechira. A, because everything goes according to cause and effect. B, because the rest of the world is pulled, what is driving them is their physical drives. So they're saying there's nothing I can do about it. This is how I feel. And therefore, they got to the conclusion that they don't have a choice. Why is it not true? Because the rest of creation, the whole world, works with the law of nature, which is cause and effect. However, human being is different. We like to decide what we're going to do. We like the feeling of choice. We like the feeling of being able to decide what we're going to do, what we're going to think, how we're going to think. And this feeling is actually true. It's a genuine feeling that Hashem put into us in order to give us the ability to choose. And the fact is that when you choose wrong, for example, I had an incident a few weeks ago. I went to speak in Lancaster on a Shabbaton for a Sem in up north, and my daughter came and joined me over there from Manchester Sem. And just as we were leaving on Sunday morning, we were the last ones to leave. My taxi was waiting for me. I locked the door. I put the key in the box outside with the number lock on it. I didn't know the number lock. And as we locked the door, I shut the door behind me, and my daughter goes, I think I might have left my purse in there. But maybe not. Maybe it's in my suitcase. Maybe not. I don't know. And at that moment, what I should have done is I should have made a choice to contact the owners or the people who rented the place and ask for the number lock so that I can unlock the door, so I can go inside and double check if her purse is in fact upstairs in the room like she thinks it might be or not. But I was feeling overwhelmed by the fact that I need to get to the train station on time. I don't know where I'm going. The taxi's waiting. And I said, I don't have the number, let's just go. And we went to the station, and at the station to check the suitcase, and lo and behold, her wallet wasn't there. So that led to a few weeks of chasing the Airbnb, the owners, it's not until finally, Baruch Hashem, yesterday she got her purse back. For weeks I've been eating myself. Why did I have to be so stupid? Why did I have to be so stupid? Why could I not just think with put my mind over my heart and think logically, go upstairs, 2 minutes is not going to be the end of the world. Go upstairs, check if the wallet is there. All you need to do is message or call a few people. I was a bit uncomfortable to do it because it was Sunday early morning and I didn't feel comfortable calling people that time, but the aggravation that came as a result. Why was I eating myself up about it? Because I had a choice, and I know I had a choice, and I chose stupidly. So I ate myself up for choosing stupidly. And we all do that, or maybe you don't, I do, all the time, based on our choices. So if you make good choices, you are happy with the choices that you make. And if you make bad choices, then we get upset with the choices that we made, because we know that actually we are responsible. But according to the world outside, this feeling of liking to be in control and being able to choose is an illusion. It's not true. And they prove it with the concept of hypnosis, that if you hypnotize the person and you say to him, in half an hour, you will go open the window, then half an hour later, he will go open a window. And when you ask him why you open the window, he'll say, because I was hot, and he won't be aware of why he did it. So based on that, according to psychology, they say, no, a person doesn't have free choice. So what is psychology? Psychology is a logic of humans, right? A study of humans. They took the human and studied the human as a science, just like all other science. It's a branch of science, and they studied mankind as a science. Now, according to psychology, if you take a psychologist, top psychologist who can understand a person inside out all the way, for example, take AI and put into AI everything you need to know in terms of in psychology, then AI will be able to say what this person will do, predict he will do this and then he will do that, and basically he can predict his whole life based on understanding the person completely, because a person will act according to the laws of nature of cause and effect. Why is that wrong? Well, they say that if a person will be given a certain amount, put a certain amount of money in front of a person, they can predict whether a person will take the money or not, based on how much he needs the money, based on the amount of the money. And they say if it will be a small amount of money, a person will leave it because his consciousness will take over. But if it's a very big amount of money, he won't be able to hold back. And that's how a person can be predicted. Now, this hashkafa, this way of looking at mankind, is actually the opposite way of the Torah way of thinking. Why? According to the Torah, the bechira, the ability to choose, only a person has. And we said at the beginning that from all beings in the world, including the angels, only man has a choice to have the freedom to choose. The bechira is not influenced by teva. One second. A person has koach bechira because the bechira is not impacted by nature. Why? Because the bechira comes from the spiritual part of beings, which is we are a neshama. We are a neshama that is put into a body, and the neshama part of us is the part that makes the choice. Meaning that neshama has choice over the lower part of us. And the constant battle, what did Hashem do? Hashem took a spiritual neshama, which is, according to Asfarim, it's called Chelek Eloi Kamimala. It's part of Hashem that is chiseled away from Hashem. The way, if you want to, we can't give it any physical figure or form, but if you want to imagine it like if Hashem is a very big flame, and then you take a bit of that flame, and that is what goes into us. As a child, I used to imagine it like that, because I thought, what is the heat in my body? What's giving my body the 36.6 degrees? What is it? The Celsius. It's the heat of the neshama. If you take the neshama away from me, then my body will be cold. So that was like, it's a childish way of looking at it, but it helped me as a child when I try to envision me being part of Hashem. And if you think about it, Hashem put the neshama into the body, and the neshama is not bound by any rules or laws of nature of any kind. So even though we have different character traits, we have different things that pull us in different directions, even though the different the nature part of me is battling against and is not making it easy necessarily to make the choice, still the neshama is able to make the choice, and it's not bound by the laws of nature. The more a person is spiritual, the more a person will be able to make choices from place of neshama, from a neshama place. The more a person is physical, is materialistic, the more he will find it difficult to make decisions from a place of neshama, and it will be rather from the lower part of him. And the feeling that we have of that we are the ones who are here to make free choices with the ability to choose is not an illusion like the world thinks. It's a true feeling that Hashem put within us, and it comes from the part of neshama within me. The materialistic person judges everything, contemplates everything, all calculates everything according to the laws of nature. Does it fit? Does it not fit? Can I do it? Can I not? And therefore, you can't understand the concept of nature or of Bechira, which is above nature. Now, so we understand from this that if according to psychology, if I'm not responsible, if I can't make choices because I'm not free to choose, then I'm not responsible for my actions, and that empty the person from it basically any issue that I have. I'm labeled, and then sorry, this is how I am, and there's nothing I can do about it. But Rav Chaim Friedlander says that it's empty of content, this concept, because when people fail, they say, what can I do? This is how I am. This is how I was made. But when a person succeeds, they tap themselves on the shoulder, look how good I am, look what I've achieved, look what I've done. And it's a contradiction, because if you have a freedom to choose, if you are responsible for your actions, for your thoughts, for your emotions, then you're also responsible for your failings, for where you tripped. So it's empty of content to say, I'm not responsible because what can I do? This is how I am. Or you're responsible, or you're not responsible. So the truth is that when a person is lower and goes lower and lower and lower on their own ladder, they do end up being controlled by the physicality, by the drives over the neshama, because it gets to a point where now we're going to go back to the ladder. We're going to go back to the ladder, because the pasuk that say that the Chazal that say that tzadikim libam birshutam, reshayim the libam moishel bahem, meaning when a tzaddik wants to make a decision, it says he talks to his heart, and there's many quotes, many psukim that he says vayomer Haman belibo, and Haman said in his heart. And it says about others that they spoke in his heart. Amar noval belibo. The Rishaim say in their heart. Vayomer Yeravam, who I mentioned at the beginning, belibo. Vayomer belibo, and he said in his heart. As opposed to tzadikim, they speak to their heart. It says vatasam v'chana medaberes el liba. She spoke to her heart, not to get upset with her husband's second wife, who tried to upset her, and she spoke to herself to not get upset. And it says about Daniel from the lion's den, vayasem Daniel el libo, and he spoke to his heart. So what's going on here? We have, if we look at ourselves, we have three parts. We have our moach, our mind, our intellect, and for this sake, we have, and the neshama shines in through there. We have our leiv, our heart, where our decisions basically are made, and it's a place of our emotions, and we basically operate in this place of emotions all the time. And then we have our actions, our drives, our lower part, right? So we have moach, leiv, kaved, which is the neshama, the ruach, and the nefesh. The nefesh is our lower part, and it's the one that is represented. The animals also have nefesh, and ruach everybody has as well. Neshama only Jews have. So what happens is, at every given moment, I have a choice to go up on my ladder or down on my ladder. Every single one of us has a ladder, my journey. And on my journey, I need to go up the ranks, up the rank, up the rank. Every rank that I go up, I change the whole arena of battles, of my battle, and I go up a tiny bit, and that opens the road to go up another bit. In other words, I can't become Moshe Rabbeinu tomorrow, but I do have the ability to be a tzaddik like Moshe Rabbeinu in some time in the future. based on the choices I will make. And I can become a Rasha, just like Yeravam, based on the choices I will make. The more positive choices that I make, the easier I make it to myself, because I limit the free choice that I have. The higher I go, the easier it is to see down below. However, what Hashem does is to keep a fair play. The Yetzer Hara grows with us. So it goes in the mind in order to keep the battle fair, so that otherwise we're left without free choice. So as follows. What we need to do is we need to try and choose a way that doesn't have a test. If I can help it, and choose a way that is less testing, then we're obligated to do that. David HaMelech, King David, was criticized for choosing the way of test, and Adam did the same. So when we can get sachar, we can get merit for not going down the way of test. However, the real time of choice is not to put myself in the place of choice. Is meaning when I go to the shop and I see a stunning skirt that I want to buy, and this skirt is very borderline to my standards, whether it does cover, doesn't cover, each one to their own standards. The time of test is not right there in the shop. The time to battle, to fight the test, to fight the battle is actually before going to the shop. So it's, for example, when we are facing a test, it's a struggle, and the struggle will happen in the place of heart. How do I put my mind over my heart? How do I make myself win the battle? I need to plan. I need to live my life here with an understanding that they're the journey and they're the plan. And if I want to be tomorrow better than I am today, and I want to be today better than I was yesterday, what am I doing for it? How am I going to make myself choose good? I need to consider this as almost like a business plan. I need to think, where am I going? What do I want to do? How am I going to get there? And think about it. For example, a guy in a top unit in the army became a guard. So he's guarding the palace, and the other guard is the guard next to him. The other guard is huge physically compared to him. This guy is tiny. He's really, really small, petite. So somebody said to him, how can you be a guard? You're tiny. If a big guy like that will come and attack you, what are you going to do about it? And the guard said, if a big guy like that comes close enough to attack me, then I failed on my job, because I need to recognize him before he comes. Meaning we need to prepare ourselves before the battle comes, and not to let him get there. So for example, if I want to set myself a target, I want to learn about, and I want to overcome, let's say I have an issue with anger. And I find it very difficult. Some people have an issue with patience. Some people have an issue with being nice. Some people have an issue with stinginess. We all have issues in all different areas. The way to overcome our issues is by learning about it, by becoming mindful of it. So when we are attacked, we are prepared for that attack. What does an attack look like? So the word that is commonly used today is triggered. You feel triggered by something. The minute the word triggered comes into the fore, it means there is a Yetzer Hara in action going on here. There is a test, there is a battle, and I'm now getting into action. The minute I feel triggered, I need to say to myself, hang on a second. Any negative feelings that come my way, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's fear, whether it's anger, whether it's lack of patience, whatever negative emotions or thoughts come my way, I recognize them immediately as the presentation of the Yetzer Hara. It's the serpent coming up inside me. And I need to then say, I know where you're coming from. I'm not allowing you in. And the language that we're using in our heads is normally I say, I am triggered. So the I that is triggered is actually not me. It's a Yetzer Hara. And if I give it a name and I make it foreign to me, it's not me that is being triggered. It's a negative power that are coming to attack the real me. You know that I let myself down phrase? The I that let myself down is a Yetzer Hara versus a Yetzer HaTov. So the language that we're using within ourselves, if we can change that to understand that when somebody is pressing my buttons, he is activating a battle within me. He's saying, here we go. Hashem wants you to step up to the plate. There's another thing coming your way. And when you are facing a test like that, what you recognize is Hashem is inviting you for a meeting. Hi, I'm, the cameras that announce loud, hi, you're currently being recorded. You're currently being recorded. So at this moment, you reckon, hey, I'm being recorded. Hashem is watching me. Hashem wants me to come for a meeting with him. How is Hashem organizing this meeting? He's getting someone to trigger me, to press my buttons, whatever it is. So that is the personification of the Yetzer Hara. He's coming along saying, hello, I'm here. You kick up a fight against him. I'm not letting you in. And then what you are doing is you are going up a level, own your own ladder. That is called getting closer to Hashem. You're going to meet Hashem now. You're going up in your level, and then a whole new world of Shefa and bounty is open up for you. So I'll finish with this. I want to wish us all hatzlacha, success with recognizing when the battle is coming our way, when the test comes our way, to recognize I have the free choice. I'm activating big I over small I, the neshama over body. I'm activating the real me over the Yetzer Hara, not letting you in. Any negative thoughts, any negative feelings, emotions are coming from one place, from the Yetzer Hara, not letting you in. I'm going up on my ladder, and Be'ezus Hashem, we should all be zeicher to reach our potential, and together we will all meet in Yerushalayim, Binyan Beis Hamikdash. Amen. Good Shabbos to all of you. And if I can just say just one liner before we finish, is a point something that just came to my mind as I'm finishing now, and that we need to recognize that Hashem knows we all have different arenas of battles. We all have different starting points. No one person is bigger than another person. Only Hashem knows who is who. And when Machlon and Kilyon, who were the sons of Nomi and Avimelech and Elimelech, who left Israel at a difficult time, and the sons Machlon and Kilyon married non-Jewish princesses.
I'm just going to have to say thank you. I'm leaving because the mom of the bat mitzvah girl is speaking. I wanted to be there to thank you. Essie, carry on, and thank you everybody, and good Shabbos.
Thank you, Joanne. Good Shabbos. I'm finishing. I'll open the floor if there's any questions in a minute. I'm just going to say that Machlon was the older one. He waited a little bit longer before he got married. Kilyon, the younger one, married a bit earlier than him. They both met the girl at the same time. They both got engaged at the same time. Machlon waited a little bit, and Kilyon married straight away. Machlon was married to Rus. Kilyon was married to Orpah. And because Machlon waited a little bit, he merited, for the fact that he waited and pushed off the sin a little bit, he got rewarded that his widow got married and had David HaMelech come out of her. So Hashem rewards us even for holding back. So we need to recognize that when we have a very, very difficult time, every moment, if you're going to get angry and you feel the bubbles coming up, if you say, I know I'm going to blow it up, I'm going to blow up, but I'm going to count to 5 and wait 5 more seconds. You get rewarded and your level will change on your ladder. You'll go up a rank even for that. So every little counts. Let's be better tomorrow than we are today. Good Shabbos.
Thank
Any
you very, very
questions?
much. Thank you.
My pleasure. Any questions?
Thank you, Essie.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
So
it.
interesting and enlightening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good Shabbos. Thank you.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Essie, so lovely to hear you again. You're amazing.
Thank you. Who's that speaking?
Samantha.
Hi, Samantha. Mazel
Shabbat
tov.
shalom. Thank you.
Okay, good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos. Keep well.
Good
Thank you very
Shabbos,
much,
all.
Essie.
Shabbos.
Keep well.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. See you.